Hey guys, Reza here from Budget Audio Reviews. Let's dive in straight into the build quality. This thing is built like a tank made out of brushed aluminum. Don't let that tough look deceive you. They are sexy as hell. Look at those curves. These things are very well made. I love what they have done with that build. It looks really sporty. Over the other side, you can see the curves of the IEM. These things fit into your ears and they melt into your ears real comfortably with no hot spots. The silicone tips are well made, very comfortable, provide a good seal. The cables, they fit real well over my ears. And this, the rest of the cabling is very flexible, very soft. The thing is, they don't get tangled. The 3.5mm plug, basic stuff. Let's dive in straight into the review. Hey guys, Reza here from Budget Audio Reviews. Today I want to share with you a little bit more about my experience with the TRN BA5. Just to share with you guys, I am really new in the world of audiophile stuff, so bear with me. All I want to share with you is with regards to the listening experience of the TRN BA5 as an end user who just wants to enjoy his music, okay? So the TRN BA5 is my very first IEM and I was really excited to get it. And from a first initial impressions, I thought that the TRN BA5 is really cool. I think the TRN BA5 has very nice polished quality. I'll put some pictures below as I share about the TRN BA5 as we go along. Today's review, I just want to share with you a little bit more about sound, but not from a quality perspective, rather listening experience. How much of the TRN BA5 can you enjoy very simply with a mobile device, like for me my Samsung Galaxy S10, just driven directly into the headphones, alright, without any additional amplifying or DAC, digital analog converters, okay? So all you need to do is just maybe use a typical music player like Spotify. I use Spotify a lot because I share the account with my family, so I use Spotify on very high quality on all my downloads, and it is good enough for me. Alright, so let's go straight into sound. I'm sure all of you are really curious with regards to how the TRN BA5 sounds like. It sounds amazing, it sounds really good, it sounds way above its price point of Singapore dollars, $58 to $60, or in US dollars is about US $40 to $42. Now, how I go about testing the earphones is to go through a few music that I really enjoy listening to. I'll start off usually with a binaural recording. That's right, binaural. I lost that word for a while. So binaural recording, from my personal experience, going through a few stuff from before, like way long back was Ottmar Liebert's album, but recently I think Amber Rubarth's recording is really good. I think it's done by David Chesky. So Amber Rubarth's recording sessions from the 17th ward called Tundra. So that is an extremely amazing album for you guys to listen to. What happens within a binaural recording is recorded through a dummy head with a mic in each ear of the dummy head, so it absorbs the sound, just like how a human ear would absorb the sound. What I did enjoy with the Tundra recording was you had the in-hall experience with the performers, so you could hear the bongos right in front, you could hear the skin of the bongos being struck by the musician, by the drummer. On my left here I could hear the guitars playing. It's mostly the lower bass notes that she was playing, and on my right over here you can hear the violins. So the violins was literally singing to me. You could hear every single note, slide of the violin, everything, even including when they started plucking the violin, you could hear the details of the violin. Now we talk about depth of the sound. The depth of the sound was really nice. The depth of the sound was about, well, if I could explain depth of sound, it's probably about as if you're at one arm's reach away from that sound. So they had very good depth and perception to the instrument separation. This is what the IEM can do. In a binaural recording, it is it's important that you have good earphones, because the earphones give you better clarity in terms of where all the instruments are, what you're listening to. And what I did enjoy with Tundra using these earphones was, again, that precision and detail in the sound, especially when the bongos started going on, and how you could hear the striking on of the skin of the bongos. That's really amazing. So from a binaural recording, I like to go into a live recording, but not binaural. A very high quality live recording, I would say, is Hotel California Hell Freezes Over 1994 MTV Live. So from binaural recording, you go to a live recording that has great instrument separation and clarity. So I would say that Hotel California, for that recording in 1994, was extremely good for its time. It was so precise, it was so sharp that you could hear every detail in the guitar strumming. You could hear the vocals coming forward towards you. You could hear the cymbals going, the crashes of the cymbals, and you could hear the drums. It's amazing. And also you could hear the crowd in the background. I would say that gives you a very good live experience with high quality precision in terms of instrument separation. So if you talk about soundstage, I would say Tundra gives really good soundstage. Hotel California gives you good instrument separation. I move next to something that has bass, and bass that stays in the recording. It's purposely made to stay in the recording, which is Royals by Lorde, Pure Heroin. So the song starts with a good boom, and that bass was meant to stay. So you could see how the earphones, the BA5, was able to reproduce that bass that stayed, and it's not an artificial tuning from the earphone. So it is true to the recording, and you can enjoy the tracks that has good bass. I would say the BA5 is able to represent bass in a very natural form, because I compare this to the Marshall mode that I had. Marshall mode to this was about, when I bought it several years ago, it was Singapore $50. This is Singapore $58, $59. So with about $8 to $10 difference between the Marshall mode and this, is a world of difference in terms of the quality and precision of the music that's reproduced through the earphones. So based on the bass that's reproduced through the Marshall mode on the song Royals, the Marshall mode had a very deep bass that stayed. This has a deep bass that stayed just enough for what the song intended to. Moving next, which I thought the BA5 did not perform well, was Prodigy, Diesel Power. So Diesel Power had a deep sub bass tuned into the song. So that bass couldn't be reproduced just from the phone to the earphones. It could get reproduced once I amped it up to the Neotech NTK059, but directly it wasn't able to reproduce that kind of deep sub bass. But I'm not saying it's not lacking. I'm just saying that it's not dynamic enough for you to enjoy Prodigy. So the BA5 is not dynamic enough for you to enjoy the fast beats that Prodigy has. I switched it to something slower and more deliberate, which is Angel by Massive Attack in the album Mezzanine 1998. A lot of you are very familiar with Angel. Now that had a good bass that was deliberately put into the track. Boom, 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 boom. And you could really feel the build-up of the bass, and the moment it kicked for the first, you could really feel that kick in the BA5. Again, the BA5 represents the bass as how the album producers intended it to be. It didn't stay any longer than it's supposed to, because at some, with my experience listening to several other commercial mainstream headphones, for example the Marshall mode, the JBL E65 BTNC, when I wired it up and have the ANC on, the bass got boosted. Sometimes Massive Attack's Angels, that song, the bass or the sub bass hurt my ears. It hurt me because I don't know, maybe it stayed for too long, or my ears has gotten sensitive with age. I'm 43 this year, and I realized that my ears get more sensitive to deep bass sounds versus when I was much younger. Now I enjoy bass that's more precise and firm, but not overwhelmingly boosted and boomy. I really don't like it because I lose the details of the other stuff that's coming out from the music. moving forward, moving on, I just want to skip right through to the classical tunes. I enjoy Baroque era music very much. So this particular recording is amazing. It's Canon in D, very popular, Johann Pachelbel. But this one is by the Denon Essentials album in 2009. I'm unable to pronounce that album name, but I think it's done and conducted by Jean-Francois Paillard. So that is an amazing recording. Now that recording is so precise in terms of the strings. I would say the clarity of the reproduction of the album was beautifully reproduced through these earphones here, where you can hear where the strings are, where the instruments are, where is it in the space of that recording. I'm not sure whether it's done in a studio, I'm not sure whether it's recorded in a hall. It sounds really beautiful. You could hear every single detail in the sound of that recording, and it's not veiled. Sometimes when you listen to that kind of recording, you feel as if something is blocking you to the performance. No, you're right there in the performance. Next one we're talking about. Next I will go through to Batman theme done by Danny Elfman in 1989. The penultimate Batman theme, everybody's favorite Batman theme. So that was beautifully well reproduced again by the BA5. You felt the excitement of the orchestra, you felt the excitement of the blaring of the trumpets, the trombones. So this BA5 is able to reproduce the brass sounds of the brass wind instruments as it blares through the trumpet. You can literally hear the trumpeter adjusting his breath through the trumpet. So you might find that in tracks like a Batman theme, maybe the trumpet sounds is too far forward, it's too upfront, it's painful to your ears, but you have to bear in mind what kind of recording it's for. So the Batman theme, or if you're listening to a lot of soundtracks like me, I enjoy listening to soundtracks, you must understand that soundtracks was meant to be reproduced in a cinema hall. So if you listen to certain soundtracks and you think that it's too much up here, it's probably meant to be put in speakers that's slightly further away from the audience, and it's supposed to reach you at a certain distance. So the recording is specific to the intention and purpose of the music. So I do find soundtracks you have to adjust how, or should I say, you have to adjust your expectations of how the sound is like coming to you. So I did find with the Batman theme, the trumpets can be a bit harsh and right in front, but that's just because it's meant to be a theme song. I would say the BA5 was able to reproduce the brass sections, the wind sections very well on the BA5. Finally, we go to Manhattan, alright, by Eric Johnson, 1997. This is a live recording, G3 live in concert. This was with Eric Johnson, Joe Satriani and Steve Vai. This is such a beautiful recording. If you love electric guitars, if you love a little bit more rock, jazzy tunes, I think Manhattan is the song to listen to. It's got good vibes to it. So when you listen to Manhattan, especially the BA5, the bass is just right. You're right there. The feeling that I get with the recording through these earphones is I am in the concert, about maybe the first 5 rows towards the performers. So I'm able to enjoy how close the electric guitars are, where the drums are separated. And what I did totally enjoy with the with Manhattan done by Eric Johnson in G3 live through the BA5 is the crisp sound of the hi-hat. It's strange, of all the things that stood out for me in that song was the hi-hat. So I could hear the hi-hat being hit, and especially when it closes, when the hi-hat closes, you can literally hear the hi-hat go. So that's amazing, because that sort of detail I don't get it with typical off-the-shelf headphones like what I experienced with the Marshall mode. So this earphones is really wonderful that I'm able to enjoy such musical detail. So if you enjoy musical detail without overwhelming boomy sounds, this is it for you. But if you just enjoy boomy boom boom boom, punchy bass, you could just go with something simple like Marshall mode or any other kind of earphones that gives you that kind of very bass accentuated sound. But I'll share with you a little bit more how you can overcome that through some equalization or through some amping. Next, we're just going to quickly share about the comfort of the earphones. I'm so sorry, I've overrun the time, definitely longer than 10 minutes, but I just want to show you guys the comfort of the earphones. I'm just going to turn sideways. Okay, so these earphones for now, it may seem big to a lot of you, but the moment you're able to get proper placement, turn it back slightly. Alright, the shape of the earphones are very comfortable. I'm able to use these guys for about 4 hours straight without any kind of fatigue, pain or discomfort. There are no hot spots whatsoever. I don't get any kind of discomfort at the edges of my ears here. It's very, very comfortable. In fact, after a while, you don't even feel that it's there. So from a comfort level, it's definitely 5 out of 5 for these earphones here. It's very well finished. It's very smooth. So through the pictures that I've shown you earlier, it's very well done. I thought it would have been uncomfortable, but it's not. Next, we talk about the stock equipment. Some guys are saying maybe you should change the tips, etc, etc. No, the stock ear tips are very comfortable for me. I don't have to do anything. The stock silicone ear tips are great. They're very comfortable. They get enough seal. I don't get a lot of leakage from the sound outside, neither does the sound go out that much. How about the cables? Yes, it's a bit thin, but I know I've not bought the the next step to modifications of IEMs, which is cabling. So the stock cables are copper, and I think that the stock cables are just nice. It reproduces, I believe, the sound as best as it can through the earphones. Good job, TRN. I think the cables are really very well done. Really very well done. And next thing, we want to talk about the value. So the value of the earphones based on the Marshall mode versus this guy. Just a small $10 difference from Marshall mode 5 years ago to this one in 2020. Spend the 10 bucks more, get this guy. Alright, next we're going to talk about the 3 levels of enjoyment that you can have with the IEM. Level 1, straight through the mobile phone. Alright, IEM to mobile phone, done. Play through Spotify, very high quality. You know, EQ straight from the phone if you like. Turn off Dolby Atmos, I think that's terrible. And just run it straight from Spotify. Turn off normalization of volume, it will do very well for you. Level 2, run it through an amp, a small, simple, cheap amp like the Neotech NTK059. You get a lot more meaty sound, your bass is boosted a little bit, your mids come up. Problem is, the sound gets muddied a little bit with the boosted bass on the BA5. So you get meaty sounds, but it gets muddied. Simple. Take another step. Third step, use a external app for EQ. I use Wavelet EQ. It's an amazing app. So Wavelet EQ, Wavelet app, do the EQ. I'll show you my EQ right here. I EQ out the sound. I cut off some of the sub bass and bass, boost a little bit of the treble, just by a little bit. Bam! I get a similar sound quality sound register as it was driving just from the phones to the earphones, but with a bit more volume to the sound. Not volume in terms of loudness, but a filling up of sound in my ears. So it's not loud, it's just more quantity, more volume, quantity and quality. So I get a bit more depth to the sound as well. So in terms of sound stage, yes, I get more depth with the amping as well. But I must say that this one can be driven directly from your mobile phone with no problems. Alright guys, so thank you so much for hanging out with me on Budget Audio Reviews. TRN BA5, highly recommended. You will keep it, I will keep it. So keep it or be in it. I'm gonna keep it for sure. I'm not gonna sell this pair of earphones even though if I get new ones. Okay guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. Take care, see you real soon.